and welcome. We light our chalice here in the darkness of winter as we wait for the kindness of an innkeeper, for the sound of angels, for an impossibly bright star in the sky, for love come to life again within us, among us, and beyond us. And we have all 4 candles of the Advent wreath lit, signifying that this period of waiting is coming to an end. And so tonight we light the Christmas candle.
I'm Reverend Emily Gage. My pronouns are she and her. Our opening words are from Gretchen Haley. Calling all who cannot wait any longer for joy, for hope, and some good news, even a little. The time has come, the waiting is over. Here in this time, we have an old story to tell, one that has been shared over and over for thousands of years, but still somehow it remains unheard, still radical and risky. Breaking through into these days of darkness and cold, division and fear, interrupting the perpetual stories of violence and loss and the feelings of powerlessness. Into the errands and errors of our everyday, Christmas arrives not only to comfort, but to awaken, to reassure, and also to stir us up as a new life, a life of peace and justice and courageous love struggles to be born. Wondering if we will yet be the ones who make room in our lives, in our world, for the refugee, the poor, the plain and messy sweetness of a newborn baby. If we will take the journey to Bethlehem, if we will be changed by the presence of a love that meets us where we are, in the fields wherever we lay, and calls us forth into a new journey, a braver and bolder life, believing that it is not too late for strong and gentle people to win, for compassion and truth to have the final say, for the bright light of hope to shine through even on the darkest night. Come, let us celebrate the good news of Christmas. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your life journey, wherever you are in the world, you are welcome here. Come, let us worship together. I invite you to rise and bow to your spirit. We're going to sing Bring a Torch, Jeanette Isabella. All the words for all the songs are in your orders of service. Be seated. This first reading is from Lynn Unger. It's called Fear Not. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord showed round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, which is maybe a silly thing for a creature made of wings and eyes to say to a couple of schmoes who were just hanging out with their sheep until the heavens cracked open. Who wouldn't be afraid? And who stops being afraid just because somebody tells you? And yet, fear not is the thing that angels say, apparently. An angel says it to Mary, and to Joseph, "Fear not," as if that would undo the panic of the moment, let alone all the hardship to come. The story never says if Mary or Joseph or the shepherds were comforted by those fear-denying angels. Likely not. But all of them moved forward, did the next thing that was to be done, which is about all you can ask. And maybe when the word came from Herod about smiting babies and they had to run, maybe when all of the daily terrors of life descend, it would be good to have the angelic voices whispering, "Fear not," all down the long road and reminding you about the great tidings of good joy.
And the second reading is from Muttered Prayer and Thanks for the Under Genius of Christmas, and that's by Brian Doyle. Putting up ye old fir tree last night and pondering why again we slay a perfectly healthy tree 10 years of age, not even a teenager yet, and prop up the body and drape it with frippery, I saw the quiet pleasure of the ritual, the actual, no kidding, no fooling urge to pause and think about other people and their joy, the anticipation of days spent laughing and shouldering in the kitchen with no agenda and no press of duty. I saw the flash of peace and love under all the shrill selling and tinny theater, and I was thrilled and moved. And then I remembered, too, that the ostensible reason for all of that was love being bold and brave enough to assume a form that would bleed and break and despair and die, and I was again moved and abashed. And I finished untangling the epic knot of lights, shivering yet again with happiness that we were given such a sweet, terrible knot of a world to untangle as best we can with bumbling love. And so, amen.
Imagine, if you will, that you are in the midst of a cold, dark winter. I guess you probably don't have to imagine. Imagine that if you are not sure if it will ever grow warm and light again, and then imagine you hear a story of hope, a story of new beginning that is once familiar and brand new. No one really knows when the baby Jesus was born or how or what really happened that night, but it was a special night. It was a wonderful night full of hope and love. It was so full of hope and love that has been told over and over and over again. We need these stories, sometimes especially in the middle of a cold, dark winter. And so tonight we tell you the story of Jesus' birth in a new and familiar way. I invite you to open your hearts and minds as you watch and listen. I'm going to invite our friendly beasts to come up to get comfortable in the stable, and our innkeepers and everybody else to go to their stations. And we're going to sing Jesus, Our Brother, in honor of all of our friendly beasts. So I invite you to rise and embody your spirit. I'm gonna invite our friendly beast to say hello. What animals do we have down there in the stable? We have a unicorn. We have Pegasus, and a donkey, and a sheep, and Totoro, and 2 cicadas, and a Dalmatian, and a tiger, and a baby doll. Anybody else? What are all the noises that these animals make? This is one awesome stable. Long ago, in a faraway land called Judea, a man and a woman named Joseph and Mary had to make a long journey to the city of Bethlehem because there was a new law that said they had to go there to pay their taxes. It took Mary and Joseph 3 days to walk to Bethlehem. Mary was going to have a baby soon, and Joseph worried about her making such a long journey. They started out each early morning with bags of bread and cheese to eat along the way. At night, they were very tired, and they would find an inn where they could sleep.
Look, Mary, those must be the rooftops of Bethlehem ahead of us. We're almost there.
Thank goodness. I'm very tired, and it feels like this baby is about to be born.
Well, don't worry, Mary. We're almost there.
Wow, there's a lot of people in town. I guess that shouldn't be a surprise.
All right, we're here.
May we help you?
Yes, we would like a room for the night.
Do you have a reservation?
No, we weren't sure when we would arrive.
Sorry, no rooms.
Look, Mary, there's another inn. Hello, do you have any rooms available?
We're full. Try the place 3 streets over. It's bigger.
There's got to be a room somewhere.
We'll see what they have to say. Excuse me, do you have any rooms for me and my very pregnant wife?
I don't care who you are. Can't you see we're full ready? Go away. We've been looking all afternoon, Joseph. I'm starting to get really worried.
Me too, but we'll find somewhere, I promise. Look, I see another inn, and there's a light in the window. Hello, my name is Joseph, and this is my wife, Mary. We've been traveling for days, and Mary's about to give birth. Can you please help us? We just need a place to stay.
I'm very sorry. There's no room in here, but I can make some room for you in the stable. Come with me.
Can you move, unicorn?
It's a little crowded, but mostly clean and very warm.
It's nice. Smells like fresh hay. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Now, everyone close your eyes and imagine time passing. Okay, you can open them.
It's a boy, and his name is Jesus.
Here come the shepherds.
Oh, the shepherds.
Did you hear something?
Did you hear something?
Wow, look at that star. Where did that noise come from?
Are those angels talking to us?
I think so. Well, I guess we should listen to the angels. Come on, sheep.
Yeah, come on, sheep.
Come on, sheep. He is a beautiful and amazing child. Mind if we stay and rest a while?
No, there's plenty of room.
We won't turn anyone away.
Let's all spread the news by singing Go Tell It on the Mountain. I invite you to rise in body or spirit.
Look, wise ones, look at that star.
It's so bright. It must be shining for something very special.
Let's follow it and see where it leads. Congratulations! What a wonderful child. This child will be our teacher. We brought you some gifts. Here is some gold.
And frankincense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This story of a wonderful child born in unusual circumstances, is just one story. A child named Jesus, born of Joseph and Mary in a stable years and years ago. There are so many, many stories of babies being born in all sorts of circumstances. There are not always angels or prophets or wise ones or even a stable full of friendly beasts. And yet, it is as Sophia Lyon-Fawes writes, each night a child is born is a holy night. Let us thank our young people among us for the gift that they have given us this afternoon by helping to tell this story and simply by being who they are. You did a great job.
Hey! You did do a great job.
Our holy family and friends are welcome to go and sit with their families. Or go back to where you started at the beginning. We're all going to sing Angels We Have Heard on High. I invite you to rise in body or spirit.
Echo
may be seated. The best stories are the ones you can tell over and over again. Stories like the one we tell in our Christmas pageant, which we have told over and over again. The funny thing, or maybe this is the best thing, is that no matter how many times you've heard it or seen it, you can still see something new. This year I've been thinking about the angels. The angels are the ones spreading the news about this wonderful baby that everybody needs to see. So let's just take a second to think about that. Imagine that you're doing your thing, going about your day, taking care of your long list, when all of a sudden there's a bunch of angels telling you that you need to stop what you are doing. There's a bunch of angels telling you got to get going on a mission that seems dubious at best. You got to go follow a star and see this baby, they say. I would probably be annoyed or confused or maybe frightened. I can't say that I've ever had angels appear out of nowhere to tell me what to do. Maybe those angels understood that because they also make a point of saying, "Fear not." "Fear not," the angels say to the shepherds. "Drop what you are doing and go follow this star and find this awesome baby that we are telling you about. Fear not." Fear not, they tell them, even though there's a lot that's unknown, and that in itself might just be something to be afraid of. You got to give those shepherds some serious credit. They reacted pretty well. The Reverend Lynn Unger describes that angels talking to the shepherds moment in the story. It's all completely absurd and unbelievable. And no one in their right mind, which neither the shepherds or the sheep probably were under the circumstances, would have the faintest idea how to respond. Any reasonable person would conclude that the sky was falling and hunker down, but these guys, these plain, extraordinary guys, got their sheep together and go out to look for a baby in swaddling clothes. Think about that for a minute. Swaddling clothes are what everybody those days wrapped their babies in. It's like saying, you will know for a sign when you see a baby in a onesie. But these dudes were like, okay, sure, fine, let's go see what they're talking about. And they said that, I bet, even though they were afraid. That's just how it is sometimes. You keep going even when you are afraid. You just keep going in the hope that it won't always be like this, that you won't always be afraid, that when you get going, the thing that got you going, even when you were afraid, gets bigger and bigger until you aren't afraid after all. Fear not, or maybe fear or fear not, but do it anyway. I wonder if those angels are like those little voices we sometimes hear deep down within our souls. The ones that tell us that we need to do something unusual and risky that maybe no one else is going to understand. Or the ones that call us to be true to ourselves in a totally new way. Or the ones that mean we need to strike out on a completely new path without any particular directions or a map. Gretchen Haley from our opening words, into the errands and errors of our everyday, Christmas arrives not only to comfort, but to awaken, to reassure, and also to stir us up as a new life, a life of peace and justice and courageous love struggles to be born, wondering if we will yet be the ones who make room in our lives and in our world for the refugee, the poor, the plain and messy sweetness of a newborn baby. Whatever time of year, I imagine we've all been at those critical junctures at our lives, wondering if we should listen to those inner voices. The thing about this story, this Christmas story, is that we tell here is that it has a happy ending. Mary and Joseph, who have had to leave home and all that is familiar to them, about to be parents who cannot seem to find a place to stay, finally do. Imagine how afraid they must have been. But then the stable was quiet and cozy, and they were surrounded by the most unlikely of friendly beasts. Against all odds, with no more than a star to guide them, the shepherds and the wise one find that particular baby. And then there they were, all caring for each other in some way, having moved through and with fear to get there. Fear not. Fear not, because if all these amazing things can happen, then maybe anything is possible. The pageant always ends with that image of all of them there, all together, a visible reminder of that invisible truth, that we are not alone. We are surrounded by love and care. Who would have believed that the story would end that way? Fear not. The setting of this birth is so unusual, so unexpected, that it reminds us that any child, absolutely no matter what the circumstances of their birth, can be someone who can change the world. Any child, no matter what the circumstances of their birth, will be someone who changes the world. Fear not. Of course, this isn't really the end of the story. No birth is. Before you know it, Jesus will be up and running around the stable. This is just the beginning of a life that will be filled with all the joy and heartbreak and love that is part of all of our lives. Brian Doyle again. And then I remembered, too, that the ostensible reason for it all was the love being bold and brave enough to assume a form that would bleed and break and despair and die. And I was again moved and abashed, and I finished untangling the epic knot of lights, shivering yet again with happiness that we were given such a sweet, terrible knot of a world to untangle as best we can with bumbling love. And so this story and our stories and all the best ones continue on. But because we know impossible and amazing things have happened, like this birth in this humble place, like this couple finding shelter, like these shepherds and wise ones following a star, like this spontaneous community of love and care rising out of nowhere, because we know this happened, we know that pretty much anything is possible. Listen to the angels. Fear not. There are, of course, endless portraits of angels in art and literature, each telling their own story. We, or at least I, have often thought of them as vague, floating, winged creatures high up in the air with shimmering voices. But honestly, I think from now on, I'm going to think of our pageant angels, generations of our much-beloved young people here in the East Balcony shouting out their lines. Who better to be cheering us all on, reminding us to listen to our inner spirits, encouraging us to take the risky path and follow our own stars. The Reverend Lynn Unger notes, "It would be good to have the angelic voices whispering, 'Fear not,' all down the long road, and reminding you about the tidings of great joy." That's a story worth telling over and over again. Whether we fear or fear not, may we keep following these stars. May we know that amazing and wonderful things are possible. May we fear not, knowing that we are never alone and always, always surrounded by love. And so, may it always be.
One half of our offering will go today to support the programs and mission of Unity Temple. The other half will go to Housing Forward. Housing Forward's vision is to end homelessness. Their mission is to transition people from housing crisis to housing stability. Housing Forward provides a wide range of services, including emergency overnight housing, transitional housing, outreach, and homelessness prevention. They work collaboratively with compassion and incorporate diversity and inclusion into all they do. May we be transformed by our gifts, and may our gifts help transform the world. I invite you to join in the responsive reading that comes from Sophia Lyon Foz. You can find that in the order of service. I invite you to read the bold parts together. For so the children come, and so they have been coming. No angels herald their beginnings, no prophets predict their future courses. Yet, each night a child is born is a holy night. They ask, where and how will this life end, or will it ever end?
Out of this cold and damp afternoon, we have come to be with one another, to share the celebration of this special day, to be with and connect to one another. Roger and I are each going to light our candles from the chalice, and then we're going to walk through the sanctuary and light a candle or two in each section. And we ask that you then pass the light to whomever is next to you. We're going to do that in silence. We're going to turn out the lights and do this in silence, and then when all the candles are lit, we'll sing Silent Night. As the light in the sanctuary increases, so does the hope and courage and love that we bring to one another. Our closing words are from Maureen Killeran. Tonight in this community, we have shared stories, sung carols, opened our hearts to the beauty of music. Tonight we have turned to one another, lighting each other's candles. Tonight we have dared to hear a message of hope spoken once again against the challenge of the world. It's now time to depart, to go forward to our lives and to the world. May joy be your companion, whether you are with others or alone. May love be your strength, and may the gift of community dwell in your heart, for here in this place you will be welcome always, whenever you choose, whenever you need. We will extinguish the chalice, but you are welcome to keep your candles lit until we turn the lights on after the closing music. Please join with me in the words of our chalice extinguishing. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again.